There is a profound kind of freedom that comes when you realize that your internal state does not have to be a slave to your external circumstances. Most of us live our entire lives with a remote control to our emotions held firmly in the hands of other people. A stranger in traffic cuts us off, and suddenly we are angry. A coworker makes a passive-aggressive comment, and our stomach churns with resentment. A partner forgets a promise, and we descend into a cold silence or a hot rage. We move through the world as reactive creatures, bouncing like pinballs off the bumpers of other people's behaviors, moods, and mistakes. We believe that our anger is something that happens to us, rather than something we participate in. We say things like, "He made me mad," or "She upset me," phrasing that inherently gives away our power. It implies that the other person reached inside our chest, turned a dial, and forced us to feel a specific way. But this is the great illusion of human emotional life. The truth is that no one can make you angry without your consent, even if that consent is given quickly and unconsciously. The anger does not live in the event. It lives in your interpretation of the event. It lives in the gap between what you expected to happen and what actually happened. To learn not to get angry or upset with anyone is not to become a doormat or a person without feelings. It is not about suppression or swallowing poison while smiling. It is about mastery. It is about understanding the mechanics of your own mind so thoroughly that you can stand in the middle of a storm and remain completely dry. It is about realizing that your peace is too expensive to be spent on things you cannot control. To begin this journey, we must first understand what anger actually is. Biologically, anger is a defense mechanism. It is a fight or flight response designed to protect us from threats. In the ancestral environment, a threat was usually a predator or a physical attack. Anger flooded the body with adrenaline and cortisol, sharpened the vision, and prepared the muscles to strike or run. It was a survival tool. But in the modern world, the threats we face are rarely physical. They are threats to our ego, our self-image, our convenience, or our expectations. When someone insults us, they are not threatening our life, they are threatening our idea of who we are. When someone wastes our time, they are threatening our schedule. Our biology, however, does not know the difference between a tiger in the bushes and a rude email from a boss. It reacts with the same chemical dump. This is why anger feels so physical, why your heart races and your hands shake. You are prepared for a physical battle that will never happen. Understanding this biological mismatch is the first step. When you feel that heat rising, you can acknowledge it as a biological false alarm. You can say to yourself that my body thinks I am in danger, but I am actually just inconvenienced. This separation between the physical sensation and the psychological reality creates a small gap, a pause, where wisdom can enter. The root of almost all anger and upset is a thwarted expectation. We walk around with a massive invisible manual in our heads that describes exactly how the world should work and how people should behave. We have rules for how drivers should merge, how cashiers should speak, how friends should listen, and how partners should show love. When reality violates the rules of our manual, we feel a shock, and that shock quickly turns into anger. We think that they shouldn't have done that. The word should is the most dangerous word in the vocabulary of peace. When you argue with reality, when you insist that things should be different than they are, you will lose 100% of the time. The driver did cut you off. The coworker was rude. The rain did ruin the picnic. These are facts. Your anger comes from your refusal to accept these facts. You are screaming at the universe for being what it is. To stop getting upset, you must burn the manual. You must stop expecting people to be anything other than what they are. If you know that a specific friend is always late and you expect them to be on time, you are setting yourself up for anger. You are the architect of your own misery. If you accept that they are chronically late, you can either adjust your schedule, meet them somewhere where you can be entertained while you wait, or stop meeting them. But you do not get to be angry at a dog for barking or a cat for meowing. People act according to their nature, their conditioning, their trauma, and their current level of consciousness. To expect them to be otherwise is a form of delusion. We often get angry because we take things personally. We assume that the bad behavior of others is a commentary on our worth or a direct attack on our dignity. If someone is rude to us, we think they are disrespecting us. But the vast majority of the time, people are not thinking about us at all. They are trapped in the movie of their own lives, fighting their own battles, dealing with their own pain. Their behavior is a reflection of their internal state, not a reflection of you. The driver who speeds past you isn't trying to insult you. They might be rushing to a hospital, or they might just be a reckless person who drives that way around everyone. The cashier who doesn't make eye contact isn't judging you. They might be exhausted, heartbroken, or worried about rent. When you depersonalize the actions of others, you remove the fuel from the fire of your anger. You realize that you are just an extra in their drama, just as they are an extra in yours. This shift in perspective allows you to move from judgment to observation. Instead of thinking that this person is attacking me, you can think that this person is having a hard time or this person lacks manners. It becomes a statement about them, not a wound to you. There is a concept called Hanlon's razor, which states that one should never attribute to malice that which is adequately explained by stupidity or carelessness. We often assume people are being malicious when they are simply being oblivious. We invent a villain where there is only a flawed human. We tell ourselves a story about their intentions. He didn't call me back because he doesn't respect me. She interrupted me because she thinks she's smarter than me. These stories are almost always fictions designed to protect our ego, but they end up hurting us. The ego loves to be a victim because being a victim gives it a sense of righteousness. There is a strange, addictive pleasure in righteous indignation. It feels good to be the one who was wronged, the one who knows better, the moral superior. But this pleasure is a poison. It hardens the heart and narrows the mind. To be free of anger, you must be willing to give up the satisfaction of being right. You must value your peace more than your pride. You have to ask yourself if you would rather be right and angry or wrong and peaceful. In the grand scheme of things, your opinion of how someone else should behave matters very little. What matters is how you feel in your own skin. Compassion is the ultimate solvent for anger. It is impossible to be furious with someone when you truly understand their suffering. This does not mean you condone bad behavior or allow people to mistreat you. It simply means you see the causal chain that led them to this moment. Hurt people hurt people. A person who is secure, happy, and at peace does not go around making others miserable. Cruelty, rudeness, and aggression are almost always symptoms of internal pain or deep insecurity. When someone lashes out at you, they are showing you their wound. If you can shift your perspective to see their behavior as a symptom of their struggle rather than an attack on you, your anger will turn into pity or even detachment. You wouldn't get angry at a person with a broken leg for walking slowly. Why get angry at a person with a broken spirit for acting poorly? This requires a level of emotional maturity that takes practice. It requires you to pause in the moment of heat and ask yourself what must be going on inside that person for them to act this way. This pause breaks the automatic reaction loop. The pause is your greatest weapon. Between the stimulus and your response, there is a space. In that space lies your freedom and your power. Most of us have a gap that is milliseconds long. Someone insults us and we snap back instantly. We are on autopilot. To learn not to get upset, you must widen that gap. You must lengthen the pause. When the trigger happens, you must train yourself to take a breath. Do nothing. Say nothing. Let the initial wave of adrenaline wash over you. It takes about 90 seconds for the chemical surge of an emotion to flush through your system. If you can remain silent and still for 90 seconds, the urge to react will fade, and your rational brain will come back online. In that pause, you can choose your response. You can choose to walk away. You can choose to ask a clarifying question. You can choose to say nothing at all. The person who cannot control their tongue is a slave to everyone around them. The person who can remain silent in the face of provocation is a master. Silence is often the most powerful response. It denies the other person the conflict they are seeking. It holds up a mirror to their behavior. It protects your energy. We must also examine why we let things bother us. Often, what irritates us in others is a reflection of something we don't like in ourselves. This is the concept of the shadow. If you are deeply triggered by someone who is selfish, it might be because you are suppressing your own needs and secretly wish you could be more selfish, or because you judge yourself harshly for your own selfish impulses. If you are triggered by someone who is loud and attention-seeking, it might be because you feel invisible and crave attention, but don't allow yourself to seek it. The things that elicit a strong emotional reaction from us are usually pointers to our own unresolved work. Instead of looking outward and blaming, look inward and inquire. Why does this bother me so much? What does this say about me? When you take ownership of your triggers, you stop being a victim of them. You use every irritation as an opportunity for self-knowledge and growth. The world becomes a classroom, and difficult people become your greatest teachers. They show you where you are still stuck, where you are still rigid, where you are still attached. Attachment is the root of suffering. We are attached to outcomes. We want the meeting to go well, the date to be perfect, the traffic to be light. When we don't get the outcome we are attached to, we suffer. Non-attachment does not mean not caring. It means doing your best and then surrendering the result. You can drive skillfully, but you cannot control the traffic. You can communicate clearly, but you cannot control how you are understood. You can love fully, but you cannot control if you are loved back. When you internalize the truth that you have control over your actions but not the fruits of your actions, a great weight is lifted. You stop trying to micromanage the universe. You learn to flow like water. Water meets an obstacle and flows around it. It does not stand there and argue with the rock. It does not get angry at the dam. It finds a way, or it waits. Being like water means being flexible. It means adapting to the situation rather than demanding the situation adapt to you. Rigidity is brittle. It breaks easily. Softness is resilient. It survives. Another trap is the belief that our anger is helpful, that it punishes the other person. We think that by being cold or furious, we are teaching them a lesson. But in reality, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. You are the one whose blood pressure is rising. You are the one whose sleep is disturbed. You are the one whose joy is stolen. The other person is likely going about their day, oblivious to your internal turmoil, or worse, they are enjoying the fact that they got a rise out of you. Your anger gives them rent-free space in your head. To evict them, you must let go of the anger. Forgiveness is not about saying that what they did was okay. It is about saying that you are no longer willing to carry the burden of it. It is an act of self-love. It is cutting the cord that tethers you to the past. As long as you are angry, you are tied to the person who hurt you. You are dragging them with you into your future. Letting go sets you free. It is important to distinguish between boundaries and anger. You can have very firm boundaries without ever raising your voice or losing your temper. In fact, boundaries are more effective when delivered calmly. If you scream at someone to stop disrespecting you, they react to the screaming, not the message. If you calmly state that you will not continue the conversation if they speak to you that way, and then you follow through, they hear the message. You teach people how to treat you not by your anger, but by your actions. If you tolerate bad behavior, you are training them to continue it. If you calmly remove yourself from bad behavior, you are training them that it is unacceptable. You do not need to be upset to be effective. You can be a warrior with a peaceful heart. You can protect your space without hating the invader. There is a profound humility in accepting that you cannot fix people. Many of us get upset because we want people to be better. We see their potential, or we see how their behavior is hurting them and us, and we want to force them to change. But you cannot change anyone. People only change when they are ready, and usually only through their own pain and realization. Trying to fix others is a form of arrogance. It assumes you know what is best for their soul's journey. Maybe they need to be messy right now. Maybe they need to make mistakes. Your job is to work on yourself. When you become a shining example of peace, patience, and kindness, that is the most powerful influence you can have. Be the light, not the judge. When you stop trying to fix the world stops feeling like a broken project that is failing you. Let's look at the mechanics of the ego again. The ego loves to be offended. Being offended gives the ego a sense of solidity. I am the one who has been wronged. It solidifies your identity. To stop getting upset, you must hold your identity more loosely. You must be able to laugh at yourself. You must not take yourself so seriously. If someone calls you a fool, and you know you are not a fool, why does it matter? It only hurts if a part of you fears it might be true. If someone calls you a purple elephant, you don't get angry. You laugh because you know it's not true. The insults that stick are the ones that hook into our own insecurities. So the work is to heal your own insecurities. When you know your worth, when you are secure in your value, the opinions of others bounce off you. You realize that their words are just sound waves in the air or pixels on a screen. They have no power over you unless you grant it to them. Consider the transience of all things. This too shall pass. The situation that is driving you crazy right now will be a distant memory in a year, or a month, or even a week. Is it worth sacrificing your peace today for something that will be forgotten tomorrow? Zoom out. Look at your life from the perspective of the stars. You are a tiny speck of consciousness on a rock spinning through infinite space for a brief flicker of time. In the face of the vastness of the universe and the finality of death, does the rude comment really matter? Does the traffic jam really matter? Keeping death in mind, memento mori, is a powerful way to align your priorities. You do not have time to be upset. You only have time to love, to create, to be present. Wasting your limited heartbeat on anger is a tragedy. Gratitude is another antidote. It is physiologically impossible to be grateful and angry at the same time. The brain cannot process those two states simultaneously. When you feel yourself getting upset, force your mind to find something to be grateful for. It can be small. The fact that you are breathing, the sun on your face, the music playing. This shifts your focus from what is lacking or wrong to what is present and right. It changes your vibrational frequency. It breaks the momentum of the negativity spiral. It takes discipline to do this in the heat of the moment, but it is a muscle that grows with use. There is also the aspect of physical resilience. We are much more prone to anger when we are tired, hungry, or stressed. If you are running on fumes, your emotional fuse is short. Taking care of your physical vehicle is a prerequisite for emotional mastery. Sleep, nutrition, exercise, and silence are not luxuries. They are the foundations of a peaceful mind. If you find yourself getting irritable constantly, check your basics. Are you rested? Are you nourished? Sometimes, the most spiritual thing you can do is take a nap. A regulated nervous system can handle the bumps of life without crashing. A dysregulated nervous system sees every bump as a mountain. Let's go deeper into the idea of radical acceptance. This is the spiritual practice of saying yes to reality as it presents itself. It doesn't mean you like it. It means you acknowledge it without resistance. Resistance creates suffering. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Suffering is pain times resistance. If you have a headache and you say, "I have a headache," that is pain. If you say, "I shouldn't have a headache, this is ruining my day, why does this always happen to me?" That is suffering. When you encounter a difficult person, accept that they are difficult. This is how they are right now. When you accept it, the internal war stops. You can then deal with the situation with clarity. You can navigate around the difficult person just as you would navigate around a fallen tree in the road. You don't kick the tree. You don't yell at the tree. You just go around it. Radical acceptance turns obstacles into mere features of the landscape. We must also realize that everyone is living in their own separate reality. We assume we are all living in the same world, but we are not. We are living in our own perceptions, filtered through our beliefs, our past experiences, and our moods. When someone says something to you, they are speaking from their reality, using words that mean something specific to them. You hear those words through your reality, filtering them through your meanings. Misunderstanding is the default state of human communication. Realizing this helps us be more patient. We realize that conflict is often just a collision of two different maps of the world. Instead of getting angry that their map is different, we can get curious. That's interesting that you see it that way. Curiosity negates anger. You cannot be curious and furious at the same time. When you approach people with the intent to understand, rather than the intent to correct, the dynamic changes. You become an explorer of the human condition, rather than a judge of it. There is a tremendous power in silence. When you are angry, your urge is to speak, to defend, to attack, to have the last word. But the last word is a trap. It just invites the next word, and the cycle continues. Learning to swallow your toxicity is a skill. It burns going down, but it saves the relationship, and it saves your dignity. You never regret the angry words you didn't say. Once words are spoken, they cannot be taken back. They leave scars. Silence creates a vacuum that the other person often fills with their own reflection. If you don't fight back, they are left fighting themselves. They look foolish. You remain the adult in the room. This is not about suppression. It is about containment. It is about having the capacity to feel the fire without becoming a flamethrower. Sometimes the anger is a signal that you need to make a change in your life. If you are constantly upset by your job, maybe it is time to leave the job. If you are constantly upset by a relationship, maybe the relationship has run its course. Anger can be a useful data point. It tells you where your values are being violated or where your boundaries are being crossed. The goal is not to never feel anger, but to not be consumed by it, and to use it as a catalyst for constructive action rather than destructive reaction. If you can use the energy of anger to clean your house, write a book, or change your circumstances, it becomes a fuel. But if you just let it simmer inside you, it becomes a sludge. Think about the people you admire most, the wise ones, the leaders, the spiritual masters. Do they fly off the handle? Do they get into petty arguments? Do they let the behavior of others ruin their day? No, they have a centeredness that is unshakable. They have a gravitas. They are like a mountain. The wind blows, the rain falls, the snow comes, but the mountain remains. You can cultivate this mountain-like quality. It comes from knowing who you are. It comes from having a purpose that is bigger than your daily annoyances. When you have a mission, you don't have time for drama. You are too busy building, creating, and serving. Petty people are distracted by petty things. Great people are focused on great things. Elevate your focus, and the noise of the world will fade into the background. We often get upset because we want to be understood. We explain, we argue, we justify, and when they still don't get it, we get furious. But the need to be understood is a trap. You do not need everyone to understand you. You need to understand yourself. If you know your intentions were good, that is enough. Seeking validation from people who are committed to misunderstanding you is a recipe for madness. Let them be wrong about you. Let them have their story. It doesn't change who you are. The truth does not need a defense. The truth just is. When you stop trying to manage your public relations campaign with every single person you meet, you free up a tremendous amount of energy. You become okay with being the villain in someone else's story, as long as you are the hero in yours. Consider the energy of allowance. Allowing people to be who they are. Allowing the moment to be what it is. This is the Taoist concept of Wu Wei, effortless action. It is moving with the current of life. When you allow, you soften. When you resist, you harden. A hard heart shatters. A soft heart absorbs and heals. Allowance is not weakness. It is the ultimate strength. It says, I am so big, so vast, that I can contain this imperfection without being destroyed by it. It is the vastness of the sky that allows the storm clouds. The sky is never harmed by the storm. Be the sky. Humor is another powerful tool. When things go wrong, try to find the absurdity in it. Life is ridiculous. People are ridiculous. We are all hairless apes wearing clothes, pretending we know what we are doing, floating on a rock in space. If you can laugh at the absurdity of the ego, the absurdity of the drama, you break the tension. Laughter releases endorphins. It shifts your perspective. It is hard to be angry when you are laughing. Learn to laugh at yourself. Learn to laugh at the cosmic joke. It lightens the load. Visualize your peace as a fortress. Inside that fortress is your garden. You are the gatekeeper. You get to decide what comes in. Do not let garbage trucks dump their load in your garden. When someone comes with their drama, their negativity, their anger, you can stand at the gate and say, no thank you, that doesn't belong here. You don't have to fight them. You just have to keep the gate closed. You are responsible for the hygiene of your own mind. If you let everyone walk through with their dirty shoes, your mind will be a mess. Keep it sacred. Keep it clean. Remember that everyone is fighting a hard battle. The person who was rude to you might have just received a terrible diagnosis. They might have just lost a parent. They might be in chronic physical pain. You never know. Assume there is suffering behind the behavior, and you will be right more often than not. This assumption generates mercy. Mercy is a beautiful quality. It is giving people the grace they do not deserve. because you know that you too have needed grace when you did not deserve it. We have all been the villain in someone's story. We have all had bad days. We have all snapped. We forgive others so that we may be forgiven. We release them to release ourselves. Finally, understand that this is a practice. You will fail. You will lose your temper. You will get upset. Do not beat yourself up for this. That is just the second arrow. The first arrow is the event. The second arrow is your judgment of your reaction. Just notice it. Ah, I got angry there. I lost my center. Interesting. Then come back. Come back to the breath. Come back to the present. Come back to your intention. Every moment is a new chance to choose peace. It is not about being perfect. It is about being persistent. It is a muscle that you build over a lifetime. The goal is not to never feel anger, but to reduce the refractory period, the time it takes you to bounce back. If it used to take you a week to get over an insult, and now it takes you a day, that is progress. If it takes you an hour, that is mastery. If it takes you a minute, that is freedom. The world is a chaotic, noisy, messy place. It will always be full of rude drivers, incompetent bosses, disappointing politicians, and frustrating family members. You cannot pave the whole world with leather so it is soft for your feet, but you can wear sandals. Your sandals are your own emotional mastery, your own perspective, your own inner peace. With those sandals, you can walk across the sharpest rocks and not be cut. You can walk through the fire and not be burned. You can live in this world without being of it. You can be the eye of the storm, the calm, still center around which the chaos swirls. This is the ultimate victory, not controlling the world, but mastering yourself. This is the path to an invincible life. A life where your happiness is not a fragile thing held in the hands of others, but a sturdy flame burning brightly within your own chest, fueled by your own wisdom, protected by your own boundaries, and radiating out to warm a cold world. This is freedom. This is peace, and it is available to you right now in this very breath. Choose it.